Evening, boys.
Evening, Sally.
Welcome to The Chatting, your local pubcast. I'm Rob.
I'm Kirk.
I'm Mark.
And I'm the other Mark. 3 pints, Sally. And what are you having?
A Manhattan, please.
Cheers. I'll fetch him over.
Evening, boys.
Evening,
Robbie.
How we doing? All right?
All good,
All
thank
right.
you.
Yes,
You?
good.
Yeah, I'm all right. Thanks. Been up to much?
Not much, really.
No, not really.
Have you
no.
booked your skydive yet?
Oh. Do you know what? No.
Has he?
You haven't?
I haven't, no. I set up a group
Where you're
ages
going,
ago.
Dave, you'll end up doing it before you
Can
do.
Can I just remind you? I've done. Mine's done.
I know.
What are you
I
doing?
know.
Your garage?
Yes,
Yeah,
done.
garage.
What are you doing?
I set up a group. I still haven't invited Daisy to the group. But to be fair, there's been no messages since I set the group up. So I do need to get on board with it. And I keep thinking, when am I going to fit this in this year now? And it's annoying me because I do really want to do it this year. But I'm like, am I going to get a chance?
So you're always away in your caravan.
Well, I know. I know. Mark, did you end up knocking the no, the other one? Have you ended up knocking the comedy on the head for this year?
No, I'm waiting for them to release the next set of dates.
Right.
So obviously the last time they released the dates, they got the initial induction week where everything was getting set up, you meet people and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I was on holiday. Which sort of scuppered it.
Excuses.
Excuses. Well, I did message them and said, look, when's your next dates? And I've had no reply. But
Well, that certainly sounds more proactive than I've been with mine, I've got to admit. And yeah, you're right, mate. I do need to make a push on that. But,
What were yours, Kirk? Anyway, just quickly.
So mine were two. I losing weight, getting fitter,
okay, yeah.
and finishing writing my book.
I forgot about the book.
So yeah, you all have forgotten about the book.
yeah.
So yeah, my weight loss it started off well. Lost just over 2 stone. But do you know what? I kind of fell off the wagon a little bit. A lot of it's down to, as most of you know, I lost my job. So
Yeah.
It's been a bit of a stressful time last couple of months. Trying to find a job and battling with that in my head, if you like. You know, then being stuck at home all day, which is something I'm really not used to. You know, I've been working since I was 14-year-old, so
and we already know that your trigger is, you know, how you feel. And if you're not
100%.
feeling if you're not in your normal routine and you're not feeling good in yourself, that's when you tend to drop back.
I know a lot of people out there will say it's just an excuse, and that's fine. You know, that's fine, because fundamentally it is an excuse. Actually, not being at work should be a great reason to actually get on plan and go to the gym more and do more, you know, if you haven't got work in the way. So I can't disagree with that. But it's really hard to, when you're dealing with stuff like that in your life and stuff, it's really hard to kind of pull yourself out of that and give yourself the energy and the boost to get on there. So I'm probably still a little bit lighter than I were at the start of the year, but I do need to give myself a bit of a kick up the backside, to be honest.
Yeah.
I do. I genuinely do. I know that. I know that.
Well, you're more than welcome to join me at the gym next week if you want to, or I'll come to yours.
Yeah, look, I know that I've got people around me that will support and help me. I absolutely get it. But the fact of the matter is, at the minute, you know, without me sounding too
Dramatic.
yeah, or down in the dumps or whatever.
okay. Oh,
Some days it's an effort just to get out of bed.
Yeah.
And that's the God honest truth. You know, some days you wake up, you feel a bit crap, you put Netflix on, you know, you end up watching a full series laid in bed because you just think to yourself, well, what's the point? You know, and I know that sounds very down and very doldrum. Do you know what I mean? But it just is. You know, when you're applying for jobs and you're getting knocked back and you're getting rejections, and you know you think you're gonna walk into a job because of the experience that you've got and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
When you realise that it's not quite like that, and that you're getting turned down for jobs that fundamentally I could do with my hands tied behind my back, you know, because you're overqualified or too experienced or whatever. And you know, I have a lot of people that rely on me financially.
Perhaps you should say on podcast if anybody wants to employ me.
That's
what you should do. Do your CV on.
Either that, or if anyone wants to buy this podcast for a few million,
That'd be handy.
That'd come nicely. But yeah, so struggling a bit with that. No, I need to give myself a bit of a kick up the backside. But that's just where I am. And when it comes to my book, I'm only being honest when I say that as soon as everybody else stopped caring about it I stopped caring about it. So,
Well, I'll tell you what, I will pick up from, because I'm going away soon, and I'm going to take it on holiday with me, because it is quite a read. It's got to a length now that's quite a read that I would look at it and
it's
think,
about halfway through. Yeah,
it's a good length.
Yeah.
So I'll take it away and I'll read it, and I'll give you the feedback.
Yeah.
I know that's what you want, innit? You want some feedback.
It's just,
so
look,
you know
I always had that in my head that I wanted to get to that halfway point. And I'll be honest, at that point, when I was leading up to that point, you guys and other people were reading any updates, and you were saying, this is brilliant, or what about this? And it just kept me fed. It kept me going. And I got to that halfway point, and I thought, it took some effort to get. I mean, it's about 40,000 words now. Halfway point. And obviously, I sent it to you guys. I know I didn't send it to you, Mark, because you openly said you weren't going to read it.
No, well, I don't read. I'm just being honest.
At least you was honest, absolutely.
I don't listen I don't listen to anything. I don't read anything. I don't do anything.
I know.
So,
but obviously, I sent it to you, Rob. Sent it to Mark. Sent it to my wife, Daisy.
However, Kurt, once it's published and you've got it in hardback,
yeah,
I will read it.
Oh
Thank
yeah,
you.
glory seeker.
And he'll want a signed copy.
First edition.
Of course.
Yeah, obviously my wife Daisy sent it to her. My ex, I sent it to her, and actually someone that I used to work with years ago at the hotel. You know her, Mark.
Yeah.
Charlotte.
Oh yeah, Charlotte. Yeah.
Jeffries.
Oh yeah, I do
you didn't
know.
think I meant her, did you?
No, I thought you meant another Charlotte. I did. Yeah,
so she
that's a
reached
long
out
time
to me.
ago.
She reached out to me on Facebook and was like, "Oh, I read a lot of books and stuff like that. Why don't you send it to me if you're looking for someone to proofread it and stuff?" So I'm like, do you know what? Absolutely, I'd really appreciate that. Sent it to her. Never heard anything from her again. So
what you wanted.
It's a cracking book.
So I think it got to that point with me that I was a little bit like, look, if I can't even get my mates to read half of it, what chance have I got of getting it out there in the public ether?
Well, we did read all of it, but then you got to a point where you said, right, I'm going to rewrite some of it.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, at that point, I'm like, well, I've already read this. How am I going to reread it, knowing that it's going to be different?
There's probably only from the update that you last read to then the last one that I sent you, there's probably only 50% of that you previously read.
50%. That's half of it.
Yeah.
That's what I just said, isn't it?
No.
Isn't that?
Well, I'm just saying that to read it anyway. Look,
Well, I've
it's
definitely-
fine. I know. Listen, I know it takes effort to read a book, and I know
Yeah.
that it takes even more effort when you're reading a book that's not even a full book. And I know, especially if then you're not a reader anyway.
Yeah.
And to invest that time, I'm not pointing the finger. I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah.
That's why I stopped writing it.
Well,
So,
when I go on
simple as
holiday,
that.
I'm going to read it, and I'll give you some feedback.
Marvelous.
I went to a pub the other day. I said pub. I went to Brewdog. I ended up in Sheffield, went to Brewdog, and I found a drink that I thought, I'm going to bring it in for the boys to try.
Oh no.
So I've got another drink
What,
for
you
us to
brought
try.
a pint in with what you've already drunk out, and you've still
and
got
I
it?
bought it a week ago, and it's still in pint glass.
Okay, all right, we'll
yeah.
go with that.
So as you can see, there's a can on the side that's wrapped in paper.
Yeah. Why is it wrapped in paper?
Yeah,
Well, because
Is it past the parcel?
Yeah.
It looks like you're obviously homeless with this.
Yeah.
You can like
last
wrapped.
time I did it, I told you what it was, and you just got to try it. Whereas this time,
Got to guess.
you've got to guess.
okay.
Oh.
Okay. I don't particularly think it's going to be that hard.
It's not spicy or sour, is it? Like
Yeah,
Marlboro in
no.
last. No.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
Can I ask you, Rob? Well, I like it. You're
I'm
gonna
not
say-
answering that.
Oh, crikey. I'm not going to like this, am I? But I'll have to be a guinea pig and
Right, go on
try
then. Crack it open.
Is it?
Oh, it's a good.
Have you only brought one in as well?
can
Click.
Can clack.
He's
Crack.
brought one can in for four of us.
This is Rob.
It's either really good and he's therefore
Well,
not,
it looks like.
or it's really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good job there's no floaters in it, Rob, because I'd be questioning this.
Oh, here we go.
Oh yeah. So is it? Would you say
Yeah.
it's a lager? It looks like a.
Well, it's a brewdog thing, isn't it? Surely.
It's an IPA, this, isn't it? Is it?
Is it strong?
I'm not an IPA fan.
It's cloudy, isn't it? It's going to be quite a fruity one, this, I think.
I'm
Give me
not
that.
a fan of stuff like that.
Give me that small one.
Don't
No,
put
that's too big. No, there's too much in there.
Don't
Give
put
me that
it
small one.
anywhere.
That's it. Okay.
It is cloudy.
Right.
Is it meant to be that cloudy?
Yeah.
So what
I'm
colour
re-
is it?
I'm
Can I,
reckoning
can I smell it?
it's
Not yet.
dishwater colour.
Yeah, a little bit like
Yeah.
urine after
Like
the
a
night
do-
before.
It's a bit-
does actually,
It's a
doesn't
bit
it?
like a dog puddle.
So, okay, let's sniff test.
Okay.
Sniff it.
Oh,
now
actually,
then.
I,
Oh,
get your nose in, Mark.
My nose, isn't it?
It smells a bit
Don't
like fruit salad.
I was just going to say exactly
fruit
that.
salad.
I was going to
sweets.
say it's a bit fruity.
Yeah, it smells like the sweets.
Right,
Smells
exactly-
really
Are-
good.
are we tasting it? Yeah.
Okay,
Can we
you
taste
can go
it?
ahead and
Right,
taste it.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's go for it.
I'm still sniffing it. I love sniffing it.
Oh, that's okay. That's strange.
Oh, okay. I quite like that,
Do you?
I don't mind that.
Oh,
which is quite rare.
it's like sherbet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
fruit
it's
salad
quite rare for
sherbet.
me, this.
Well, you need a bit in your mouth and squish it around a bit.
Swish it around. Swish it around.
What would you say the first thing? Gargle with it. What would you say?
I'll tell you what it reminds me of. You remember refreshers and those
Refreshers,
sweets?
yeah.
Refresher
Sure.
sweets. It's a bit like that.
The principal fruit in that then is grapefruit.
I
Oh,
would
here
say
we-
there's
here we
definitely
go,
grapefruit.
expert, yeah.
Yeah. What would you?
Is
so
that a sour?
you're right. It is a
Yeah,
sour.
it's a sour, yeah.
Which is why I didn't think you'd like it, Mark. I didn't say it, but I didn't think you'd like it because you don't like sours, do you?
No. But
know,
I
it
quite
could-
do
it could-
like it.
It cuts through nice after that sweet potato brownie.
So, yeah, it is a sour,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you know much about sours. I didn't know an awful lot about them, but more recently, so I think I might have even said this on podcast. The first time I had a sour, I thought the beer had gone off.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know,
Yeah.
it didn't say it was a sour, it just said it was a beer. So I opened it up, tried it, and I remember saying to Gemma, "Oh, this has gone off. this has gone off."
When each side of your mouth touches
Yeah.
at the back of your head.
Gemma tried it and went, "Oh, pour it away." And I poured it down sink. It only, as I started to learn that sours had become they've been around for years, by the way, but they've made this
I suppose
resurgence
it'd have to be
now.
to go off to that extent.
Yeah, they've made a resurgence recently. But the funny thing is how it's actually made. It's all to do with the yeast. So normal yeast that they put in beer ferments and it turns the sugar into alcohol. When they make a sour, they add a different strain. And I said they add it. They do add it, but it's airborne. There's yeast in the air, and it's basically bacteria. And that particular type of yeast feeds off the alcohol, and it creates acid, and that's where the sourness comes from.
So
a little lesson for
it
you
wheeze
there.
in your beer.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
But
The
obviously,
bacteria has a wee in your beer.
that's why beer goes bad if you don't have the right sanitation and let air get to it.
Yeah, yeah.
The other
Yeah.
yeast gets in and turns
Yeah.
it bad.
We're getting a full lesson here, aren't we?
This one, obviously, under controlled circumstances, that's how you get a good sour. And I would consider that as being a good sour. It's not too much, is it?
So what do they call it then? Bacteria
Yeah,
piss?
Maybe
Brew
that's-
Dogs, brand new drink.
Have you got any idea of what it might be?
As
If
in
I
the
was
name
to
of it,
say
yeah?
to you
What
that this
called?
actually is a normal soft drink that it's based on.
Yes.
It's based on a soft drink.
What,
Is it-
a brand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sunny D.
Tizer.
Oh, Iron Brew.
I was going to say Iron Brew.
Iron Brew.
And I wouldn't be
There we go.
surprised because
Big
Brewdog are Scottish.
Iron Brew. There
Yeah.
we go.
Iron Brew. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's certainly nice.
So it's by Vault City. It's 4.8%, and it's a sour. Yeah.
I'm driving tonight. It was
So yeah, there doesn't say anything on it about us that, but yeah, Vault City only makes sours.
Yeah.
So they are very, very good at what they do. But yeah,
Oh, so it's not Brewdog.
no, it's not Brewdog. I was in
right.
Brewdog, and you know they have the fridge
ya.
with all the guest
Got ya.
stuff. So yeah,
I
Vault
figured
City.
with Brewdog being Scottish, I
Yeah.
figured that.
So would you recommend it?
Yes, I thought
Yeah.
they were really
Yeah.
nice. It's-
I would have
And
one.
I've not tried it, by the way. I bought it just to bring here, and I think it's lovely.
I think it's definitely something I'd have after a dessert. To almost like
Cut
not-
through.
like and cleanse
Cleanser.
your palate
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of thing. And then,
beer to cleanse your palate.
why not?
Why not?
Yes. Then we need something to follow on from that. So when you went to Brewdog, then
Yeah.
did you go to the toilet by any chance?
Yes.
And it's been a while since I've been to the Sheffield one. Is it just like the stick man and the stick woman on the doors?
Yeah.
Have you seen what's going off in pubs at the minute?
No.
They're going all like cryptic with signs on doors
Oh.
for men and women. Have you seen it?
Well, I've been to places where they've got sort of cryptic, particularly like Spain and things like that. They have cryptic things on
there's
doors
some
for
now,
toilets.
right? And
They're just Spanish words for men and women.
No. They'll have like,
They say hombre.
No, I don't mean that. They'll have like a little symbol or something for men, and a little
Yeah, because
symbol for women.
they used to have women's one with someone wearing a skirt. Weren't it?
Yeah,
Like,
triangle.
Can't get away
Wearing
with
a
that
triangle.
anymore.
No.
yeah, exactly. With a moustache.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's ones now, and then on one door there's a peach, and on the other one there's a banana.
Yeah.
Okay.
on what, and it's
Yeah, it's
like,
great.
Yeah, but it's like, so, and there's another one, XX and XY.
I said,
Which one would you walk in?
yeah,
I actually don't know.
You end up walking
don't.
with everybody else.
yeah. Maybe they are
I go into
unisex
XY.
toilets.
I go into XY
The worst one,
for
Why?
men.
Is that right? Is that right? XY chromosomes.
XX.
XY is correct, Jeff.
XY. I'm presuming XX is boobs and XY's a boob.
I don't think it is that.
I don't know
Well,
if
I
it's
was right though.
I don't know if it's as
Crude.
juvenile as that, Mark.
Some are.
And then the worst one is a cat and the other one's a chicken.
I mean,
Well, I've got it.
I've got it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I've got it.
All right.
Why? What's wrong with stick man and stick woman?
Bit of fun.
Well, it's a talking point.
Well, I know it's a talking point. Anyway, so I just find it very strange that you need to change toilet signs from, gentlemen and ladies or
Yeah.
men's and
Why can't you
ladies.
just say, oh, mind you, even
Yeah.
then you say what? Yeah.
And I'll tell you something,
I'll tell you something that kind of
something
worms.
else that's bothering me. If I were landlord of a pub, and I see it all the time, and I don't get it. You see these young kids with tracksuit bottoms on, with both their hands down in front of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they walk into a pub, and you're like, hang
Yeah.
on, mate, you've got your hands down your pants. Do you know what I mean? I'm not serving you. You're not touching
Yeah.
any of my glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see it a lot.
And,
don't
and
you?
not just, you might walk into McDonald's and you're like, oh, you can have a Big Mac meal. No, you can't. Well, wash your hands, you dirty tramp. What's all that
I know,
about?
I've seen-
It's like, are they going to
Yeah.
fall off?
Checking that they're still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're jiggling them around, aren't they?
Yeah, get some trousers with some pockets in. If they're that important to you, put your hands in your pockets so you don't lose them. I mean,
Yeah.
unless they are going to fall off the other bits, but But honestly, I would. If somebody walked in like that, they'd be barred.
You're
They'd be out.
barred.
Get out.
You're barred.
Honestly, yeah.
Well, that might wind you up more, but can I tell you what winds me up?
Ooh, what?
Yeah.
Please do.
Well, there's a lot
Please
of things.
do.
There's a lot of things that wind me up actually. But what's really starting to wind me up now, and I'm sorry because I know this is going to take us. I know before I say this, it's going to take us off on one.
All right.
So,
Brilliant.
I do
Bring it
get
on.
All right, but everything, like in the media at the minute, is so vastly over dramatized.
Yes.
To try and get things like link clicks and online
Clickbait,
link
yeah.
clicks or
Yeah.
to sell news or whatever. So like, I'll give you an example, right? I was scrolling through the internet, the good old Tinternet. Yeah, I'm going back a couple of weeks, and it said ITV make huge blunder, which leads to many complaints.
Right.
All right, so
okay.
that was like the headline.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought to myself, oh,
Yeah.
what?
I've got to click this to
what's
find
this?
out. Okay.
Now,
Yep.
don't get me wrong, I know that's the idea of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I clicked it. Do you know what the huge blunder were?
Yes.
I
I saw the same one.
I'm going to
didn't.
guess that this huge blunder wasn't a huge blunder.
Well,
It was probably something really tiny.
well. Do you not know, Rob?
I don't know,
What,
no.
what are you going to go with, Mark?
It was when they held the wrong number up for the amounts of minutes. Well, they announced how many added on minutes there were going to be on the England game, and then they held the card up and it was a minute extra.
Yeah.
Is
That was
it?
the huge. So on I think it was it the England game, one of the
Yeah,
England games.
England game, yeah.
And the ITV announced so there's going to be 5 minutes additional time.
Yeah.
But yet when the board was actually put up, it said 6 minutes.
Gareth Southgate had bunged him £100.
We need an extra minute.
We need an extra minute to
yeah.
get
Right. So-
a bicycle kick in.
So that's what classifies, apparently, according to media, as a huge blunder. Right?
Ed's going to roll, is that right?
And do you know what? I know it's only a small thing, and I'm sure there's a lot of people
It's
that
commonplace.
just go, well, just get over it, Kirk. And I'm like, well, no, because that is a news outlet. So it was actually published by The Sun.
Yeah.
Now, I know we can argue whether The Sun's news or not. We can go into that in a minute.
It is.
Yeah.
But fundamentally,
Yeah.
they are classed as a news outlet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course
And
they are.
they are literally putting stuff out there of ITV make huge, blunder that led to complaints and stuff like that. And you go, no, what it is they've cited one person that tweeted.
Tweeted, exactly. They hadn't even complained, really.
No.
They've jumped on internet and then gone, they said 5 minutes and it's 6.
Oh, ITV's got it wrong, a minute
Yeah.
out, because
Yeah.
let's face it, there's some keyboard warriors out there.
Yeah.
But fundamentally, a national, The Sun, I'm right in saying
National,
that?
Yeah,
national paper.
National
Yeah.
newspaper has put a headline out there of the ITV make you to get you to click into it, and do you know what? I was probably more mad at myself that
that you'd click
fell
it.
for it.
But essentially, you'd been
Do you know what I mean?
you'd been clickbaited.
Yeah.
And you really.
And then you were angry because you were like, well, this is a non-story.
It's nothing.
It's nothing.
It's
Yep.
absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Why don't you? But the thing is I don't mind nothing news. I actually sometimes quite enjoy reading nothing news because it's better than the real news.
As long as you know that's what it is when
As
you're
long as
getting
you know
into
what
it.
it is.
Yeah.
What you should have done is you should have tweeted to the Sun that they'd made an error. That it wasn't huge news.
It wasn't huge
It
blunder.
was actually just minor.
Yeah, exactly. It was like a typical like Trevor McDonald, what he used to do on News at 10, didn't he? And finally, and you knew something like art would come at the end, and nothing bit. And that was like, trademark thing.
that were.
But they're making it like it's frontline news now, aren't they? It's ridiculous.
These days, you think they've got, and finally, no, I've got nothing.
Yeah.
I've got nothing.
Yeah, but it really got me angry. It really got me angry. It got me angry the fact that the words that we use, and the more it got me angry, the more it got me thinking, and the more it did get me thinking that actually this is around us all the time now. This is almost like common thing. Yeah, whether it be clickbait, whether it be headlines or whatever, and it did get me thinking: is this just the way that they approach news now?
Yes.
As in. Is there such a thing? Here's a question for you, Rob. Is there such a thing as journalism anymore?
Well,
there is, but I know you're asking.
There's different
Rob,
levels
so
of it. There's different levels.
I mean,
Different levels.
Ultimately, when you think about what journalism used to be back in the day, or I say back in the day, when you felt like people were bringing stories and information that was relevant and important, that people need to know or should know or might want to know, rather than just stuff. It's not even. It isn't anything other than stuff. That we don't need to know it. It's pointless as knowing. So it definitely isn't what it used to be, and it does seem like it's. I wouldn't put it under the category of journalism personally. I'm not sure what I would put it under, but it's not journalism.
It's toilet journalism, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's basically anybody. Half of this stuff, anybody can write it because it's all there for the taking. Journalism, as it used to be, well, I say as it used to be. You talk about the Sun. Some of these tabloid press have been, some of the scum of the earth, some of the stuff they've gotten up to in the past with, hacking people's voicemails and one thing and another, and so it's always had a shady.
Do you think it has something to do with the fact that because of social media and the like, and things being over dramatised in that environment, that in order for them to win stories or to get someone to publish their article, that they are having to over dramatise their writing in order for it to get. I'm sure it gets bought, doesn't it, by certain
They
people.
don't have to do it, but they are doing it.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt, they're doing it.
And
But
do you
they
think
don't
that's
have to.
because the way of the world at the minute, because everything is so over the top,
Overhyped.
that's the only way that they can sell a story.
Yes, it is. It's twofold. Yes, it is because people love drama, and the other side is people aren't buying newspapers. So the only chance you've got of selling the news is by somebody physically clicking on it. So that's why they create the hook, the headline of, massive whatever, blah, 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 after this happens, and you think, crikey, that's linked to that. And you look on it, and it's not that it's linked to it. It's just happened after that happened. They made it, and they're linking two completely different events and putting it into one headline to make it sound somewhat bigger than what it is.
Yeah.
I suppose when you think back, before the days, or not before the days of the internet, but before we had mobile phones with such amazing screens and the ability to read everything on his phone, from newspapers to articles to anything, the only way you would have found that information out was either by watching the news or reading the paper.
Yeah.
And I'm getting this from what Mark's just said. And a lot of people bought papers, didn't they? It was pretty much.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Used to work in petrol station.
It's probably
and-
one of the biggest industries, weren't it?
I mean Fleet Street. I mean they had a lot of power.
Yeah.
They had a lot of power, and they commanded. People were. The readership was high, and they'd fight over it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah. Well, I remember working in the petrol station, and each morning, come 6 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning, papers would get dropped off.
Yeah.
There were people coming in within 15 minutes, papers getting dropped off, coming in for the morning paper, and there'd be a lot of the similar people, but nearly everyone that walked in that morning would buy a paper. Now I've not worked in an environment where I know what it's like now, but I can guess it's nowhere near what it used to be.
I mean, when I used to work at a bank, I used to go up and buy a paper in the morning to take it to work. I'd read it on, tram or bus or whatever, and I'd read it in my dinner hour because I had no phone. And I couldn't really watch TV because I was at work, so it was a newspaper. That's how I got my news.
I think what bothers me though is if we're getting to a point as a nation where we can't get our news, our actual factual news, from our main news outlets, where do we get it from?
Yeah.
Like if you lose trust in that, if you lose faith in journalism, in mainstream journalism, in stuff like that, if you can't even trust them anymore, then where do we even go from there?
And I suppose there's two arguments to that as well, in that not only do we not know where it's coming from or where we find it, but we also now don't even trust that what we're reading is the truth.
No, because I feel as though what it is they put stories out there to potentially divide opinion.
Yeah. It definitely happens that. You've only got to watch morning television. GMB is a prime example. No matter what happens in the world, they'll find a negative spin on it.
Yeah.
They'll always find something to bring it down.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I don't know what it is about it, because I'll always stick it on in the morning and I sit there complaining about it. But I can't not put it on. And it riles me.
Yeah.
So clearly what they're doing is working,
Yeah.
I mean, if we were talking about to get information, I mean, there's one source that I do trust, right? And this is the BBC. Now, I know that you could say, well, that's a bit controversial because, yes, they can be biased, but whatever the BBC say, I do trust it.
Okay, yeah.
So they're not. Yes,
you believe they'll have gone through the
you trust everything the BBC says?
on the news, yes.
So you believe that they will have at least gone through the correct process of verifying information before putting it out
It's
there.
verifying that the key. I'm not saying that they're not biased or they're not putting a spin on it. They might put a spin on it, but it will still be it will be the truth because they do fact check a lot of stuff and they do verify a lot of stuff and they won't report anything that's not true. So if you hear something like there's been
on purpose.
On purpose, yeah. But it's very rare that they make mistakes because they're quite good at making sure that what they report is true. So I'm not talking about I'm talking about world news. Do
you think sometimes though what the BBC can fall into the trap of though is because they live on this kind of platform where they've got to give balance?
Yes.
That sometimes they end up giving balance to things that shouldn't have balance.
Absolutely, yeah. But at least it's yes, you're right. Because you're gonna have listeners listening to this going, well, they're biased towards Labour or they're biased towards Conservative. And that's not really what I'm talking about. But what they will be saying will be true, although it might be slightly biased one way or other. It'll still be true.
Yeah.
They're not reporting stuff that's not.
I think it's. You're right. There will be obviously there is going to be accuracy about it. And, the thing for me with stuff reported is how it's done for things that are in vogue. So you'll find a cluster of headlines that are suitable to a particular rhetoric. So, for example, the XL bully stories, for example. Every news outlet, every time there was anything to do with an XL bully, everybody latched onto it. And it were like, oh, the scary dogs, they're going to eat, this, Well, and I understand there's a situation but everybody was focusing on that, and it was like there was no other news.
Well,
nothing else happened.
Well,
the war in Ukraine, it was like that had stopped.
Yeah.
Well, this is my point. You're right. They might be jumping on it and exaggerating it to the point, as in, well, why is all these XL bully attacks? But the point is, at the end of the day, the story will be true. They won't be reporting.
But they won't be reporting about a Jack Russell that's bitten somebody's grandson.
No, I'm not.
I'm not making it about dogs, by the way.
No, I know.
Just for example, because that's creating all the hype that people are going, XL bullies, they're everyone's worst enemy, and they create this super monster story.
Well, you're absolutely right, Mark. But that's slightly different from what I'm talking about. You're right. At the end of the day, BBC and any media outlet, they can make or break a story. There's no show. The stories going off it will not know about. But like XL bullies could be a good example where they could pick and choose and they can make that a big story and a big issue.
Yeah.
There might be attacks going off and we don't know about it. If nobody's reporting it, we just think, everything's fine. But there could be loads of attacks. But the point what I was saying with BBC is if they're reporting it, it will be true. You won't be going and reading and going, well, this is
it's
wrong.
It's not full of fake news.
It's not full of fake news. If you look
Yeah.
at BBC website, all their stories will be verified and they'll be true. So you won't be clicking on it and going, well, that's not true. And
Yeah.
they won't. And BBC do not make big headlines going, oh, look what like that.
No, but there will be stuff that you won't find on the BBC News as well.
Yeah.
Well,
They'll pick and choose what you get to
well,
read.
Absolutely.
So that's the other side to
and
it.
this is why I'm saying about that. What you will find on there, it will be true. But you're right. You'll find other stories that GB News will cover, but BBC won't cover at all.
I'll tell you something that opened
So-
my eyes was watching the TV program Newsroom. It is Newsroom.
Aaron Sorkin.
Aaron Sorkin's Newsroom.
Love that program.
I know you love it, don't
Is
you?
this a drama or?
Yeah, it's a TV show.
Do you know what, Mark? Right, listen.
Yeah,
I
me?
know you don't watch telly.
No.
Right.
I watch
mean,
news.
God knows what else you do with that 70-odd inch TV you've got in your living room, right? But you certainly don't watch films on it and stuff, right?
Occasionally.
But do yourself a favour, watch Newsroom.
It's
What?
brilliant.
Well, you know what?
Newsroom.
Is it American or British?
Look,
Do you realise how much of your time you're wasting?
I know, but
What is it? American or British?
It's American.
Well, then it's a no.
I think you'd love it. I think you'd absolutely love it.
And the
Does
point,
it go on for about? Is there about 32 episodes in one season?
No, there's only 2 seasons. I think there's 12 episodes per season.
think there's
I wanna
3
say.
seasons, isn't there?
Maybe 3.
Oh, it's already too many.
But listen, honestly, it's brilliant. It's written by Aaron Sorkin, who's an absolute genius.
Never heard of him.
the point I was making
Yes.
is from watching that, I realised just how cutthroat journalism is.
Yeah.
And the fact that if they don't hit a story by a certain point, it's no longer relevant. Or they've
Yeah.
lost. A competitor's ran the story.
Yeah,
got-
second
they-
is last.
Yeah,
Second is
they've
last.
got the headline, that's it done. And not only that, but the fact that the way that we're able to find out information now, the speed of it's changed, hasn't it? Everything's faster, yeah?
Yeah.
So I can't help but think that when it comes to a journalist getting a story, they've got a certain amount of time to put up the facts together and get it out there. But if they're not necessarily all speed,
But it has to be right. It has to be accurate.
yeah, I know. So then what they do is then they're elaborating on they're not elaborating on the truth, but they're making it sound more exciting or more, the
Yeah.
Dramatic?
yeah, dramatising
Yeah,
it a little
yeah,
bit
yeah.
more in order, if they weren't quite the first to get to the story, we'll make it a bit more dramatic, and that's how we'll win that audience back. Do you know what I mean?
But that's a race to the bottom then. That's the problem with news outlets.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
That's what happens.
I think the thing is for me, it's not even the biggest issue of over dramatising something, because I suppose it's like anything. It's a crowded market, and they want people to get their news from them. So
Yeah.
that if they make it sound bigger, better,
Yeah.
bolder, then so I half get that. I think what the scary thing for me is, going back to what Mark I think was getting at or alluding to, is that it's almost like the trends in the population or the trends on how people are thinking or feeling is driving what's in the news, as opposed to reporting
Yeah.
the news.
Yeah.
You know, so
You'll follow-
if,
yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah,
if all of a sudden the general feeling, because of something that's happened, is that people are falling out with the police force, for instance, because there's been a bit of corruption in the Met, or there's been whatever it is, then all of a sudden every story to do with the police is negative.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's the feel
It
of
suits the rhetoric.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's it,
Yeah.
Mark.
That's
Yeah,
it, yeah.
it suits the rhetoric, as opposed to just reporting the news. Report the news.
Agenda, sorry. No.
You know, report
Yeah.
the news. And just because what happens is if these new news outlets are just reporting whatever they think is the trendy thing to report, or the general feel of the public, then that's just going to fuel that even more. And before you know it, they've created this society or this feeling, this negativity.
They create a hype, don't they?
Yeah, a hype, you know, of something that's just I don't want to say not true, but the feeling of it, that emotional response to
it's
it.
because it's ever present every morning. Right, we need another story the same as that one.
Yeah.
And it further cements the opinions, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Of the people that only look at headlines.
Yeah.
Oh, another somebody,
Yeah.
another somebody. And they go, well, they're all the same, aren't they? Well, no.
Yeah,
You've had 6 stories and there's, anyway.
yeah.
I think it was you that just said it, Mark. The fact that you do tend to find that stories get told on the news, and then after a period of time they just start to disappear. But the actual news, the actual thing is still happening.
Absolutely.
You know, no worse than it was 3 days ago.
Well,
But
Ukraine,
all
for
the-
example, we've
yeah.
not heard much about that.
Absolutely.
It's still going off.
Ukraine.
I mean, are they saying there's nobody
Yeah.
dying in
When
these?
we-
Of course there are.
Israel,
when we last-
Gaza, or everything else.
Exactly, it's not even been reported, is
You
it?
don't even hear it now.
No.
And it's no better than it was, weeks, months ago when they first started talking about it.
Yeah.
I tell you what, there seems to be a lack of, and I think this is down to the overall media, and social media. Is there's a lack of, and I'm not sure if I can pronounce this right. Investigative.
You
Go on,
definitely
go on,
can't.
go on, go on, Mark. Go on, Mark.
Journalism where they investigate. There's a lack of that because there used to be shows like Panorama, Newsnight used to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
I know Newsnight they've
Yeah.
cut back a lot on this. Where they used to go and
Tonight with
investigate.
Trevor McDonald.
Yeah.
Another one.
Well, yeah, true. But there seems to be a lack of this where they're just sat sort of back waiting for the news to come to them instead of them going out and
Finding the news.
finding the
Yeah.
news.
Yeah.
And then when they do, obviously, you've like the Jimmy Savile thing where they got that, that was suppressed to some degree. We're going back some years, but Newsnight did this big report on it and it were sort of held back type of thing. But a lot of that's not happening now. And I think it's because social media is suffocating a lot of this and they're jumping on the easy stories instead of going out there and looking for.
It's armchair journalism, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
what they're doing. They're looking on Facebook and
Yeah,
X
it's getting
to
later.
see what's going off
Yeah.
and then reporting
And
it.
I said a minute ago about newspapers. But if the decline of newspapers is going down because people aren't buying them, are people actually reading it on the phones? Because I can say
I
I've
think-
never looked at a newspaper on my phone.
I think there's probably more people than you think that sign up. You can subscribe now, can't you, to like the different news outlets
Yeah.
and different paper, and literally you subscribe, you pay a monthly fee, and then you just get almost like the digital copy of
version of it, yeah.
of the newspaper. So there's probably more people than you think that do that, and I suppose the actual press, the news tabloids and stuff are laughing because their costs, compared to printing that, physical copies of newspapers. I'm guess they're laughing, but.
You think so? I mean, I know what you mean, but I don't think they make as much money as they used to.
Sorry, I don't think they make as much as they used to.
Because they
absolutely agree.
had a huge grip on news, but
there's
they
no
don't
two
now.
ways about it. The cost of putting it digitally
yes.
is a lot less than.
But
in
I think
physical print.
one way's out. I think that I know what you're getting at. Yeah, they don't need to print a paper.
Yeah.
They put it online. Don't cost them less. But their readership, millions used to buy the Sun. It's still, from my understanding, I think it's still Britain's most popular newspaper and always has been.
I think
It's because it's cheaper than toilet roll. That's why.
I think popular's the wrong word.
Yeah, popular. Well, most read.
Yeah.
Even magazines, you don't see half as much magazines as what you used to get.
That's a good point.
You can't. You get all that stuff for free now, mate, on the internet.
Well, absolutely.
Are you still buying your photography books?
No,
Your magazine, should I say.
the day Nuts stopped publishing, I was absolutely devastated.
Yeah, FHM and all that.
Hey, by the way, I just said something and I just thought about this. Did you know I was on Tonight with Trevor McDonald?
You was.
I was, yeah.
What, sat next to me in studio?
No. It would have been 2001.
Is that when they did that behind bars thing?
We didn't know. Anyway, move on. So no, please,
By all means, move
tell
on.
us. I'm intrigued.
So, do you remember? I can't remember his
Trevor
name.
McDonald?
Do you remember the farmer who set a gun up in his shed?
Oh,
and
yes.
those two boys went to rob his shed.
And he shot him.
Got shot, didn't he?
Yeah,
And
he
he shot him.
He didn't shoot them.
I thought he shot him. Did he
No,
not?
No, he set up like a trap.
He set a gun up.
that's
So when they
another
opened
one.
the door, the
That's
gun
another
went
one.
off.
Oh, that's another one. So
Yeah,
okay,
they shot
right.
Yeah, this one was they opened the door, and when they opened the door, the gun went off and shot one of the boys, and he died, didn't he?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he died.
Well,
Anyway,
you were sat next to Trevor when you were doing the story, weren't you?
no, I was part of the reenactment,
Oh.
and
Oh,
so
what,
I
you got
played.
shot?
I played the boy that got shot.
I need
yeah.
to I'm going to go on YouTube. We need to find this.
See if you can
video.
find. I mean, I have no idea where it'll be.
You've obviously tried looking
Really?
for it.
I didn't
haven't you?
know this.
Do you know what? I haven't.
Have you not?
No, I haven't. Because I don't know what you type in. I don't really
Trevor
know.
McDonald.
Oh, look at me. Oh, look at me. I'm famous.
Yeah. But yeah, that was some years ago, that.
We'll have to find the story and then we'll do it. I reckon that'll be on YouTube. That's
I mean, it does
somewhere.
make me
Yeah, it's
wonder
gotta be somewhere.
sometimes when
I'm
I
gonna
think
find
some
that
of the
my
things I
mission.
did when I was younger, and I think I must be able to find these, but you just don't
So
know.
you played a farmer?
No, I played the kid. Yeah, I played the kid that got shot.
Oh, I
So,
can
yeah.
just imagine the scene.
I mean, like a scene out of Saving Private Ryan.
It was way more dramatic than
I'm gonna
probably
say,
what
did you
happened in real
overact
life.
it?
Probably.
Director's probably like, no, Rob, we just need you to say out. We just need you to say out.
He's
You
going,
just
no.
need to walk down the path. There's me doing a grand jeté and a spin.
Yeah, there you go. What's a grand jeté?
So,
Is that an ice cream?
Yeah.
So a reenactment then, what you
Yes.
sort of did.
Yeah.
And for news at 10? For news at 10?
For tonight.
For
with
tonight?
John McDonald.
Okay, right. Okay.
Yeah.
How long ago was this?
23 years ago, Mark.
When was it?
He'd already said 2001.
Oh, did you? I'm sorry, I weren't listening.
Oh dear. So how do you consume your news, Mark?
Just for a second. How
Sorry.
do you get home, Mark?
Me?
Yeah, do you get to place and go, how have I got here?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
How do I consume my news?
Yeah.
I look on the internet.
All right. Okay.
I literally open my phone, click on Google News, and look at loads of rubbish.
Right.
And then, but to be honest, and then it drives Ellen around the twist. I'll have a news channel on the TV, and I don't keep up to date on various number of ways. But first thing in the morning, I open Google News just to see if anything's occurred through the night.
Let me ask you a question then. So do you guys all get your news through your phones?
Well, I
Pretty
get
much.
that. The only thing I look at news on is when BBC deem it suitable to send me a notification.
Oh, okay.
And when they send me a notification, I go,
You read it.
that's important to read.
Well, that leads me into a question I'm going to ask you, because forgetting the BBC or whatever, when you see a news article on Facebook or TikTok or do you get news on TikTok? I don't have TikTok.
No idea.
X and things like that. When you read the story, do you instantly believe it, or do you go, no, that's not true?
I think it depends on the source, to be honest.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
I will believe it. Do you know what? I reckon if I get a notification through from BBC News, Sky News,
Yeah.
ITV News,
You believe it, yeah.
then I'd tend to believe it.
Yeah, yeah.
Rightly or wrongly, I tend to look at it and go, okay. But they tend to be headlines. So somebody's died, a crime's happened, someone's been shot or whatever, and they just tend to be headlines.
Yeah.
I don't consume news on a daily. So like, I won't have. Like Mark said there, that he puts GB News on every morning.
GB News?
Or whatever news you put on in the morning. GMB.
Good Morning Britain.
Good Morning Britain. I don't do that. And I don't look at news articles. I tend to look at headlines. But I'm guilty of exactly what I said at the beginning of the podcast. That I'll scroll through social media, and if I see a headline
Yeah.
that I think, oh, what's that about? I click it.
And that's the problem
But
now,
that-
isn't it? Have you seen they've started putting... You scroll through social media and people are starting to use screen grabs of famous news, live
yeah.
news things, and then they put their headlines on. So
Yeah.
you go, oh, and you read it and go, oh, this is...
It's
rubbish.
been happening with celebrities, isn't it, when they've been selling scam products,
Yeah.
like financial things with Martin Lewis and whatever.
Yeah.
But going back to what you were saying about me sticking GMB on every morning, there's one thing that would stop me watching GMB in the morning, and that's if they brought back Big Breakfast.
Big Breakfast.
What a TV programme that was.
That was
brilliant.
Big
fantastic.
Breakfast was good.
What a way to warm you up for going to school.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're talking about school, but even if it came on before we're going to work,
Honestly.
it'd warm me up for it.
Yeah,
Denise
that
Fernand's
were good.
nipples. Oh, yeah. Just before school. You didn't mean that, did you, Mark?
I love the fact that he's blushing just because you've said nipples.
I like Zig and Zag.
Yeah, Zig and Zag.
That's what we called them as well. No, so when would that have been? Big Breakfast? What? Are we
19
90s?
90s, weren't it?
1992 to 96, I reckon.
Yeah.
If I was
Yeah,
to guess.
yeah.
And then I reckon it was 97, 98 when he did Don't Forget Your Toothbrush. And I
Yeah,
think
that
one
would
sort
great,
of one sort of replaced the other.
Because
didn't it?
Chris Evans left the Big Breakfast, didn't he? And it got took
That's
over
right.
by Tim and... Oh, no.
No, with Johnny Vaughan.
Johnny Vaughan,
and
yeah.
that Tim did do it. I
Mark
can't remember his-
Lamar.
Yeah.
I think he
Yeah,
was
he
involved
did
at
it,
some
yeah.
point.
And then I'm sure there was someone called Tim that did it as well.
Tim.
But weren't he a Big
Tim Vine?
Breakfast?
Tim
he were a
Vine?
big he were a Blue Peter presenter, didn't he? Get sacked for snorting coke.
yeah.
No, that's Richard Bacon.
Oh, Richard Bacon. Where did I get Tim from? Richard Bacon. But I don't even know if he did do Big Breakfast.
Richard Bacon, yeah, he did it.
He did, didn't
What,
he?
Big Breakfast?
Yeah.
Sure he did.
Yeah,
Did he?
after he'd
okay.
done
I
the
think so.
whole...
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sure he did.
Okay.
I'm
yeah,
going to fact check that.
you just don't have programs like that anymore, though, do you?
No.
You know, that just feel. Sorry, Mark, were you going to say something?
No, I weren't. It's not related to what we're talking about. It's because he mentioned Tim,
Yeah.
right? And then I'm thinking Tim Vine.
Yeah.
And it's something I found out over day. Obviously Tim Vine's the comedian, isn't he? Who does the one-liners? Is it Tim Vine?
Yes.
Yeah, does really quick one-liners, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, his brother is Jeremy Vine. And I didn't know that.
All right.
So I found out. I literally only found out 2 days ago when I was like, "What? Them two are brothers?"
I never even complained. that they've not told you before?
I'm furious. I just didn't know, and it's a random fact that
This is an insight, listeners, into Mark's brain. You now understand why I'm going grey.
By the way, Richard
Anyway, carry
Bacon did do the Big Breakfast, and also Good Morning Britain.
And he probably did a nighttime show as well at that time because he was bang at it, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was probably working 24 hours a day.
It reminds me a little bit of you, Richard Bacon.
What bit? The fact that I look like him. Or act
No,
like
no,
him.
his personality is quite zany. He's quite,
All right.
he's quite
Annoying.
No, he's not annoying. He's a good presenter. He's got lots of energy.
He's going grey.
I'm saying
take
all
that
good
one.
things. These two are bombarding you with crap. No, I think that's what.
But do you know what?
I'll change his name to Rob Bacon.
It does bring it a little bit full circle, though, what you said, Mark, because, you know, we talk about news and media outlets, and like you say, it's all negative, it's all down in the dumps, it's all what's wrong with the world, and that feeds into society. That's how it makes you feel. You always feel as though that. But then when you are missing programs, like when you look back and think of things like Big Breakfast, Noel's House Party, Don't Forget Your Toothbrush, you know, they were all very
They weren't
positive.
news
I
programs.
know they're not news programs, but they were very positive, uplifting things to be on TV.
Light entertainment.
Those things still exist. I think that the key
Do
one
they?
for me is the. Oh yeah. You look at Ant and Dec; they're doing all sorts. Michael McIntyre he does all sorts of stuff.
all right.
Well, it's not.
There's plenty of coverage of variety stuff on. I'm not saying it's as good a quality as what it was, obviously, when we were younger. But the thing for me is the one that sets you up for the morning.
Yeah.
And when you get
Yeah,
people on,
yeah.
you get in the car, they get on the motorway, they're peed off because all they've listened to is Susanna Reid and Ed Balls and whatever, just talking rubbish and bringing the mood down. So everyone leaves the house peed off, and they get in the car and they're like, "This is just crap."
Put
I'm
LBC
gonna
on
work
and
it's crap.
they're talking
And
about
everything's
everything's
crap.
wrong.
What we need to do is get up in the morning and put "Have I Got News for You" on. That's what we need to do. Just watch something that's got a bit of comedy value
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know it's not really the right thing to watch in the morning, but something like that that's news based, but actually takes the mickey a little bit.
Yeah.
A bit more light-hearted. Because
Yeah, exactly.
The first thing in the morning, you
Just
don't
wake up,
necessarily
have a
want
coffee,
hitting
just
with-
watch. You don't have to be anything other. Have a news bulletin, but then surround it by laughter and music and
Good
stuff.
morning, 100 dead in X, and you think, oh wow, brilliant.
Yeah. For me, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it does. I'll be honest with you, it does affect me, but it's almost like a drug. You can't stop watching it. It's so negative, but you can't switch it off because it infuriates you. And you're like, and then you're arguing it at the TV, and you're like, just shut up and cheer up, will you? And then you carry on listening to it, and you're like, what am I even doing? And then you walk out, and you're like, well, I'm really happy now. And it's just dross.
I've actually got something.
Oh yeah, you would do. All about you.
Well, sorry, it actually is about me.
You know, he's like when someone pops into his
Yeah.
head, he's just got to say it.
You've seen yourself in the mirror, haven't you? You've just caught a glimpse of yourself in the mirror.
No, but
Come on then,
it
Rob,
just
what is
fits
it?
in. I've entered myself into a journalism award.
Oh,
Yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been?
So I've entered myself into
What have you been journalisting?
journalisting, investigating.
I've
investigative
entered my
journalism.
Glastonbury video into the Caravan Writers Guild
Have you?
award. Yeah.
Ah.
So it's the John Wickersham Award.
Never heard of
which
it.
John, you won't have, I don't think. Jo-
You're not highbrow enough.
no.
No, you've got to.
John Wickersham wrote 11 Haynes manuals.
Oh yeah, he did.
And you read them all.
No.
Yeah, liar.
I haven't read any of them, but funnily enough, I saw one the other day and I've thought about buying it.
Ford Mondeo Mark III.
The problem is it's slightly out of date. I think it came out in 2004 because he's passed away now. But he wrote 11 manuals. He's done all sorts. He's been a TV presenter. He's done all sorts.
Get on with it.
But anyway, he has the award. It's under his name, and it's the Video Award for journalism. And it's anything to do with caravans, motorhomes, leisure vehicles, basically. The Caravan Writers Guild is like a bridge between the leisure industry, caravans, motorhomes, whatever, and writers and journalists.
How's he going to judge it if he's dead?
Well, they obviously have a panel of people that do it on his behalf because he was the one that did all the caravan videos. He's on YouTube, he's done quite a lot of that. And because he did it back in the day now, it's his award. It's judged by a panel of people at the Caravan Writers Guild. And yeah, so I've submitted the video.
Well,
good
well,
luck.
good luck with it.
Thank you.
Yes.
And on a side note, do you realise how much a grey t-shirt shows off your sweat patches?
Can I just put my arms up? Yeah. It's because I'm sweating.
Yeah.
You're making me nervous, Mark. You have that effect.
Well, actually, don't forget we've put ourselves forward for some awards, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we've put ourselves forward for the British Podcast Awards and the Independent Podcast Awards. I do believe you can still vote for the Listener Choice Awards.
Listener's Choice Awards.
yes,
Yes,
you
on
can.
our socials.
Please
if
vote.
if you wanted to go and click on our socials and find the link and go and click to say that we're the best podcast ever, then by all means.
I mean, we're playing it really cool, but please just go on there and vote for us.
Do you know
we'd
what?
love your vote.
Even if you can't be bothered to do that, at least just click on some like and subscribe on some of our
Yes.
some of our podcasts, because do you know what? That's what helps and that's what gets us out there.
Anyway, am I right in thinking it's time for something?
Oh.
Wheel of Features?
Oh yeah! Go on then. Go on then. Yeah.
Time at the bar, please.
I think Mark's gone to the toilet.
He has gone to the toilet.
So now's the chance. If before we do Wheel of Features, if there's anything we want to say, now's the time to say it.
Oh, absolutely.
Or is that just cruel?
Are we setting a precedent that
I'm just worried that he won't be able to find his way back.
he's
or,
forgot?
realise why he's here in the first
He's
place.
going to go to the
I think
toilet.
He's probably forgot why he went to the toilet.
Exactly. He's going to come back with. He's going to come back with wet jeans.
Sit down. And he's going to say to us, "When we're breaking, guys, because I really need toilet."
He got halfway to the toilet and then
Bless
came
him.
back.
Bless him. You got to love him, haven't you?
Yeah,
And when he comes
to
back in,
bits.
we're just going to act as though we've not said anything.
exactly.
Absolutely.
We can't do nothing else, can we?
Do you reckon he made it into the right toilet door? Do you think he went into peach door by mistake?
I went to your sink. I can get to the toilet. I mean, it's a shame because Ellen was washing pots at the time, but never mind.
Roll a theme tune.
Here we go. Oh, it's spinning. What's it gonna be? Oh, this is so exciting. Go on. He's nearly there. The Wheel of Features.
Right, so I'm right in thinking we've actually got nothing to
Reveal.
reveal this
No,
week,
no,
have we?
don't
no.
we have, have
So
we?
it's straight into the wheel.
Yeah, give it a spin.
You ready?
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
What is it this week?
Bong.
Boom. What's that?
Hey! What is it?
Rob's Riddles. We've not done this one, have we?
Is this going to be the
Yeah.
extended edition? This isn't it?
This better be good.
If this is out like that riddle you did before, get comfy, listeners.
So I don't think it needs much explanation, really, does it? Rob's Riddles. I'm going to give you a riddle.
He's going to need one all.
You're going to give me the answer.
Who's doing it?
Me. You numpty. Okay, so the question is, do you want a long one or a short one?
Do a long one.
I like a long one.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you a warm-up, and I'll give you the short one for a warm-up.
I'll have a short one.
Yeah.
So we didn't really have an option, did we?
No, you're going to do both anyway.
I'm going
is
to
that
do
what
both
you're saying?
anyway. Yeah,
It's
but,
not all
yeah,
about
but,
you,
I'm,
Rob.
yeah, but I'm going to do the short one and we can answer it now. But I'm
Oh,
going to
right.
leave the long one for next week.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Okay, so a short one then. Okay, this is a really easy one. I think it is.
Okay.
I have a tail and I have a head, but I have no body. What am I?
I think I know what it is.
Go on then.
Is it a coin?
It is a coin.
Well done, Mark.
Whoa.
You are that good.
you.
I'm giving you another one. You ready?
Okay.
So is this the long one now?
Nope, I'm going to give you a quick short
That's
one.
the-
She got that so quick. I'm
okay,
astounded
okay.
they got it
So
so
this has
fast.
gone from Rob's riddle to Rob's riddles.
Riddles.
Right.
I've
Okay.
got a question, actually. So it's heads and tails, isn't it?
But no body.
No. But there's only one of each. Why do they call it heads or tails?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
One side's got a head on it, and old coins used to have, like, I don't know, the
Like a
Castle Gate on
lion,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there weren't a tail on the other side,
No.
were there?
No.
It's not like the opposite of Sonic with tails on it, is it?
No.
Good point, that.
No, that's a different creature
I
altogether.
know,
That was a fox.
but it's still tails, isn't it?
It's not the opposite of Sonic.
Yeah, but it's called tails.
Oh,
Yeah,
we've
it's just-
opened up a
it's his
box.
sidekick.
A can of worms, here.
Whatever.
But yes, a good point, that, Mark.
Right,
So
here we go.
thank
This is a
you.
little bit harder. It's a short one, but I'm going to give you an answer after. The more you have of it, the less you see. What is it?
Darkness.
Correct. Hey, you're good at these. Right then, okay.
Give
This
us
is a
all the
long
crap
one.
riddles.
Yeah, have you got any from Adel?
Yeah, well, they were just warm-ups just
Yeah,
to get
have
you
you got any
warmed up.
hard ones, Rob?
Right, you ready?
Is this the proper one now?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Okay.
is this
Yeah.
it?
Right.
Yeah.
Is this for the listeners or for us?
This is for you and the listeners.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. A father told his 3 sons he would die soon and he needed to decide which one of them to give his property to. He said, go to the market and buy something that is large enough to fill my bedroom but small enough to fit in your pocket. From this, I will decide which of you is the wisest and worthy enough to inherit my land. They all went to the market and each came back with a different item. The father told his sons to come into the bedroom one at a time and try to...
Hello, Rob. Hello. Is there a typo in there? Because you're giggling like a 7-year-old, Rob.
He did say that, but... Oh, dear.
Oh, he's off.
Oh, right, okay.
So father's getting boys into his room, yeah?
Yeah.
He's dying and
Father
Rob's
told
laughing.
his sons to...
Yeah, he's terminal. Rob thinks it's funny.
Right.
You're so sympathetic, Rob. Rest in peace.
I'm trying to do it.
His dad's dead by now.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Yeah. The father told... This is not going to work. Right. The father told his sons to come into his bedroom one at a time and try to fill up his bedroom with their item. No, that's not going to help me, is it? It's not going to help me at all. The first... Oh, no,
Oh, my
stop it,
God.
Robert.
I thought you were a professional.
The first son... Why can't I do this? The first son came in and put some pieces of cloth he bought and laid them across the room.
Clothy board?
But he...
Coffee board.
What's clothy board?
The father told his sons to come into his bedroom one at a time and try to fill up his bedroom with their item. The first son came in and put some...
Is he dead
We're
by
going to
now?
cut this down, aren't we? I've got on there crying here. Right. The father told his sons to...
How many sons has he got? How many sons is he? Is he about 16 sons in bedroom now?
If I have to tell you one more time, bring your things in here.
Right. The first son came in and put some pieces of cloth he bought and laid them across the room. but it barely covered the floor. The second son came in and laid some hay. It's so hard. I've never thought it'd be this hard. The second son came in and laid some hay on the floor.
Third son went, I've run out of time, I'm not going to bother.
The second son came in and laid some hay on the floor, but there was only enough to cover half the floor.
He's got big pockets, though, hasn't
That's
he?
right. Do you know what? I was sat here thinking exactly the same. How's he got that much hay in his pocket?
Even just to fill half the floor, I know.
He's got some of them jeans, you know, that used to be like red and black with those big things. And
Yeah.
The pockets were massive.
Yeah. The third son came in and showed his father what he'd bought. He wound up getting the property. What did the third son show his father?
Just tell us again what they brought
I'm
up.
going to say, can you remember the first bit?
So who's dying?
The old man is.
What's stuff?
I'll just read the little intro a bit again, because I know you might have forgot. A father told his 3 sons he would die soon and needed to decide which one to give his property to. He said, go to the market and buy something that is large enough to fill my bedroom, but small enough to fit in your pocket. From this, I'll decide who inherits my land.
I think I could have a good guess.
Yeah,
I reckon after the first 2 performances, I reckon the third one was his arse.
Mark, have you got any
Well,
ideas?
hang on, I've got so many questions here. Like this pocket thing.
Yeah.
I mean, how can he have all this straw in his pocket to fill?
I mean, I must admit, he did have a lot of straw, even to fill half a room, but we don't know how big this room is, but all we know is it filled half the room.
Right, so
And he's got really big pockets.
Yes.
Okay.
And the third son showed up, and whatever he showed him meant that he inherited the land. What did he show his dad?
Kirk's, go on,
If you've
Kirk, 'cause
got it, keep it to yourself, or do you want to say it? And
Well, I
we'll...
don't know whether it's right or not, so do you want me to wait till next week and then give you my guess? Because my guess could be right.
Yeah.
But we'll save it for next week.
Okay.
Have you got an idea?
I ain't got an idea. I need to think about it more.
Okay, well,
It
it's
didn't
over
help
to you guys at home.
If you can pick through any of that,
Yeah.
It wasn't easy, were it?
Actually have a guess. By all means, guys, get in touch. We really do like it when you get in touch. Even if you just get in touch, say hi. Don't forget also, if you want to send us an email or any question, any voice notes or anything like that, any dilemmas you've got, anything you want to hear us discuss, please send it over to us. We're more than happy to talk about it and give our two penneth, as other Mark would say.
And on that note, it's been a pleasure, boys.
Absolutely.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hang on, don't press stop yet. It's me, Mark, not Rob. I've got to tell you guys, we want you to do us a big favour. We want you to cast a vote for us for the British Podcast Awards and the Listener Choice Awards. You can find all the details on our socials and all the links are there. We'd really appreciate it if you could just take 2 minutes to do it for us, because we'd really appreciate it. So just do that for us and for the rest of the lads. Thanks.